Throughout history, humanity has faced moments when survival seemed impossible, when disaster struck suddenly and hope was all but lost. Yet, in these darkest hours, stories of extraordinary rescue have emerged, revealing the courage, ingenuity, and resilience that define us. Here are 10 of the most incredible rescue missions ever recorded, each a testament to the unbreakable human spirit. 10. The Miracle of Haiti. In January 2010, Haiti was rocked by a catastrophic 7.0 magnitude earthquake, one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. Buildings crumbled, entire neighborhoods vanished, and thousands were trapped beneath the rubble. Among them was 16-year-old Darlene Etienne, a high school student who had been studying in her cousin's home when the quake struck. The house collapsed instantly, burying her alive. For 15 days, Darlene survived in a tiny pocket of air, with no food and only rainwater trickling through the debris to keep her alive. Her family believed she was lost, but rescuers, driven by faint cries, dug through the ruins and found her, barely conscious, severely dehydrated, and with a broken leg. Her survival was deemed a medical miracle, a rare glimmer of hope in a nation overwhelmed by tragedy. 9. Left for dead on Everest. Lincoln Hall was no novice climber. An experienced Australian mountaineer, he had spent decades preparing for the ultimate challenge, summiting Mount Everest. In May 2006, after a grueling ascent, Hall finally reached the top. But on the way down, at over 28,000 feet, he developed severe altitude sickness as erythema, which caused confusion, hallucinations, and loss of coordination. His Sherpa guides tried desperately to help, but as Hall's condition worsened, his team was forced to make an agonizing decision: leave him behind or risk their own lives. Hall was declared dead, and news of his passing reached his family. Yet the next morning, another group of climbers found him sitting cross-legged on the ridge, coatless and frostbitten, but alive and able to speak. They abandoned their own summit attempt to save him, coordinating a high-altitude rescue that defied the odds. Hall's survival is a story of both the dangers of high-altitude climbing and the selflessness that can emerge in the world's most unforgiving environments. 8. The rescue of baby Jessica. Jessica McClure was just 18 months old when, in October 1987, she fell into an abandoned well in her aunt's backyard in Midland, Texas. The shaft was only 8 inches wide, but Jessica slipped 22 feet down, becoming wedged in a space barely wider than her body. The accident happened in an instant. One moment she was playing, the next she was gone. The rescue effort that followed was a race against time, as teams of engineers and volunteers worked around the clock, drilling a parallel shaft and then a horizontal tunnel to reach her. The operation was fraught with danger. The ground was unstable, and any wrong move could cause a collapse. For 58 hours, the nation watched live as rescuers inched closer. When Jessica was finally brought to the surface, dirty and bruised but alive, the country erupted in relief. Her ordeal led to new safety regulations for abandoned wells and became a symbol of hope and community spirit. 7. The Maersk, Alabama hostage rescue. In April 2009, the Maersk, Alabama, a U.S.-flagged cargo ship, was sailing off the coast of Somalia region notorious for piracy. Captain Richard Phillips, a seasoned mariner, was aware of the risks, but nothing could prepare him for what was to come. Somali pirates boarded the ship, taking Phillips and his crew hostage. In a selfless act, Phillips offered himself as a hostage in exchange for his crew's safety, and was taken aboard a lifeboat with the pirates. For 4 tense days, the lifeboat drifted in the Indian Ocean, surrounded by U.S. Navy ships. Negotiations stalled, and the situation grew increasingly desperate. In a daring nighttime operation, Navy SEAL snipers, using night vision and split-second timing, fired 3 simultaneous shots, killing the pirates and rescuing Phillips unharmed. The operation was a testament to military precision and the willingness to risk everything to save a life. 6. The Chilean miners. On August 5, 2010, a routine shift at the San Jose copper-gold mine in northern Chile turned into a nightmare when a massive cave-in trapped 33 miners, 2,300 feet underground. The men were experienced miners, but nothing could have prepared them for the collapse that sealed off all exits. For 17 days, they survived on tiny rations of tuna and biscuits, in darkness and sweltering heat, as their families and the world feared the worst. When a drill finally broke through, the miners sent up a note: "We are well in the shelter, the 33 of us." The rescue that followed was a feat of engineering and international cooperation, involving experts from around the globe. A specially designed capsule, the Phoenix, was lowered down a narrow shaft, and one by one, the miners were brought to the surface after 69 days underground. Their ordeal became a symbol of endurance, hope, and the power of global solidarity. 5. The USS Indianapolis survivors. In July 1945, the USS Indianapolis completed a top-secret mission, delivering components for the atomic bomb to the island of Tinian. On its return journey, the cruiser was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine and sank in just 12 minutes. Of the 1,196 men aboard, about 900 made it into the water, many without lifeboats or supplies. For 4 days, they drifted in the open ocean, exposed to the elements, dehydration, and relentless shark attacks. Due to a series of communication failures, the Navy was unaware of the sinking, and no rescue was launched. It was only by chance that a patrol plane spotted the survivors, triggering a frantic rescue operation. Only 316 men were pulled from the water. The tragedy led to major changes in naval procedures and remains one of the most harrowing tales of survival at sea. 4. Apollo 13. The Apollo 13 mission was supposed to be NASA's third moon landing, crewed by experienced astronauts Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes. But 2 days into the mission, an oxygen tank exploded, crippling the spacecraft and forcing the crew to abort their lunar landing. With their main engine offline, power failing, and carbon dioxide levels rising, the astronauts faced a life-or-death struggle 200,000 miles from Earth. NASA's engineers, working around the clock, devised ingenious solutions using only the materials available on board, like building a makeshift air filter out of duct tape and plastic bags. The crew used the lunar module as a lifeboat, slingshotting around the moon to return home. After 4 tense days, Apollo 13 splashed down safely in the Pacific, a triumph of teamwork, ingenuity, and calm under pressure. 3. The Andes plane crash. On October 13, 1972, a Uruguayan Air Force plane carrying 45 people, including members of a rugby team, crashed in the remote Andes Mountains. The survivors, mostly young athletes, found themselves stranded in freezing temperatures, with little food and no way to signal for help. As days turned into weeks, they faced starvation and avalanches, and were forced to make the unthinkable decision to survive by consuming the bodies of those who had died. After 61 days, with hope fading, 2 of the survivors, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, set out on foot, trekking for 10 days across treacherous mountain terrain to find help. Their journey led to the rescue of 16 people, and their story became a powerful testament to the will to live and the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. 2. Operation Entebbe, hostage rescue in Uganda. On June 27, 1976, an Air France flight from Tel Aviv to Paris was hijacked by pro-Palestinian militants and diverted to Entebbe Airport in Uganda. Over 100 hostages were held in a terminal, guarded by terrorists and Ugandan soldiers. The situation was dire, with the hijackers threatening to kill the hostages if their demands were not met. In a bold and unprecedented move, the Israeli government launched a rescue mission. Commandos flew over 2,500 miles under the cover of darkness, stormed the airport, and in a matter of minutes, neutralized the hijackers, and freed the hostages. The operation was not without cost. Jonathan Netanyahu, the mission's commander, was killed, but it became a model for counterterrorism and a symbol of determination in the face of terror. 1. The Thai Cave Rescue, saving the wild boars. In June 2018, a youth soccer team known as the Wild Boars, along with their coach, entered the Pham Luang Cave in northern Thailand to celebrate a teammate's birthday. Unbeknownst to them, monsoon rains began to flood the cave, trapping them deep inside. The boys, aged 11 to 16, and their 25-year-old coach were experienced cavers, but nothing could have prepared them for the rising waters that cut off all exits. For 9 days, they survived in darkness, rationing snacks and drinking water dripping from the cave walls. When British divers finally located them, the world watched as an international team of divers, engineers, and volunteers orchestrated a rescue that seemed impossible. The boys were sedated to prevent panic and guided through flooded, narrow tunnels, some barely wider than their bodies. The operation took 3 days, and against all odds, every member of the team was brought out alive. The Thai Cave Rescue became a global symbol of hope, cooperation, and the extraordinary power of the human spirit. These stories remind us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the courage to act, the ingenuity to solve problems, and the compassion to help others can change the course of history. If these stories inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the most remarkable moments of human achievement. Your support helps us bring you more content that informs and uplifts. Stay safe, and remember, hope can be found in the most unexpected places.